Now then, it's time to take a look through the morning papers. Here with me to review them this morning are the UK editor of The Big Issue, Paul McNamee, and former editor of The Daily Star, Dawn Neeson. So a very good morning and a very happy Christmas Eve to you both. Looking in party mood already there, Dawn. Very impressed with that. Fantastic. Nice to see you both. Now, let's go through some of the front pages, shall we? Paul, you've picked out the Times to kick us off, and an apparent push to get 50-somethings back into the workforce. It appears that a number have chosen to take early retirement. Is that right?
Yeah, here's a cheery seasonal story to start us all. This, as you said, this is looking at a double problem. One, that they think around 630,000 people have left the workforce since COVID, and also that the government needs to maintain as many skilled workers as they can, and they sometimes tend to be older. So this is part of the government's new plan, new ways to do that. The problem they have here is that the details are really, really sketchy. That it seems to amount to offering a personal MOT to assess people's financial health, and not a lot else. And if you marry that to the fact that here's a government who do not seem capable of managing the labour force as it is, because quite a lot of people are out on strike for a whole set of reasons, it doesn't fill you with confidence if you are over 50 and you are thinking of moving back into the workforce, that there is any clear plan for you. There's a couple of other things, according to this story, that are going to be rolled out in spring, but none of them seem to have any great substance behind them.
And presumably the government's keen to do this, Paul, because they want people back paying more taxes.
Well, for any number of reasons. I mean, I'd imagine it is to bring the tax shield up, but at the same time, there is a problem with filling job vacancies across Britain. We all know this. We all know that whether it is in nursing or in teaching or in any other number of professions that people have left, that it's very hard to very quickly fill it, because you have to train people, skill them up and get them up to a certain level. So I think that this is it probably feels like a quick fix to address those problems.
Okay.
A lot of what's been exacerbated by Brexit.
Okay, let's move on, shall we, to the Daily Express front page, which, Dawn, you've picked out, haven't you? Christmas outfit, Christmas story that you're focusing on, because, of course, it's the first King's speech from King Charles for Christmas Day. So what's the Express saying about it?
It is, Anna. Good morning to you, and Merry Christmas Eve to everybody. King Charles is making his first speech as monarch on Christmas Day. Obviously, a tradition started by his mum 70 years ago on the radio, which is quite astonishing. And the Express's front page, King's vow to build on Queen's legacy in Xmas speech. Very nice and positive, and I think a lot of people will be watching this broadcast, just out of curiosity alone, even if you don't support the role, just to see what he says and how much he does mention his mum. He's obviously determined to pay tribute to her. He's making his speech in St George's Chapel in Windsor, which is where the Queen and obviously Prince Philip are both laid to rest. And I don't know about you, Anna, but I mean, it was his mum. She was our Queen, but it was his mum. So how emotional is it going to be on his first Christmas without his mum to be talking at her final resting place? I mean, I still, stupidly, I know, still get quite emotional thinking about the Queen, and, you and I were broadcasting from outside Buckingham Palace covering the funeral. And I still get quite emotional thinking about, the duties she did and how she served, and what an impact it had on the whole country. So for Charles to stand there, no matter what you think of him, and give this speech, and it's pre-recorded, it's not live, so I'm sure it's not going to break down into tears. But I think a lot of people will be watching it. I know I will. As I said, the Queen started the tradition 70 years ago on the radio. The first televised speech was in 1957. It seems a long time ago now. But obviously the royal family, it's a period of change and moving forward. We know Charles wants a slimmed down monarchy. The speech is on many of the front pages today. In particular, the Express have done it well, and the Mirror have done it well as well. But you do wonder which members of the family he will pay tribute to. I'm expecting William and Kate, but I wonder if he will mention the likes of Harry and Meghan.
Yeah, it will be interesting, won't it? according to The Sun, he's getting tough with Prince Andrew. I'm sure he won't get a mention in the speech, Paul. Front page of The Sun, Charles evicts Andrew. So what's this about?
Well, yes, it would be interesting if he did mention this in the speech, give it some bit of a kick. It says, King Charles throws disgraced Prince Andrew out of Buckingham Palace after Epstein scandal. And again, according to the details of this story, Prince Andrew is no longer going to have an office in Buckingham Palace. If you thought that, it's surprising that he still had one. Apparently he has one with a skeleton staff. It doesn't say how many are in that skeleton staff, but they are facing the axe. 3 years since Andrew was removed himself from public life because of the Epstein scandal. So this, as Dawn was saying, King Charles looks like he wants some kind of slimmed down monarchy. This perhaps is him cleaning out the house a bit. A slightly different take ahead of the King's speech on what he is doing, but an interesting one no less. Although, don't fear for Andrew. Apparently he'll keep a 31-bedroom Royal Lodge in Windsor Estate for now. So even if his office is closed in Buckingham Palace, he's got somewhere to write his letters.
Indeed. Okay. Let's move on to the Daily Telegraph next, shall we, Dawn? Their front page focuses on Sir Keir Starmer. They quote him as saying in the headline there, pro-trans laws needed across the UK.
Yeah, this is, as you know, this is a thing that other women are concerned about. Obviously, this comes after the changes in Scotland, the new gender recognition bill that passed this week, which allows people to self-identify as their chosen gender without any medical diagnosis or monitoring. And it applies to our 16 to 18-year-olds who just need to live in their chosen gender for 6 months. So it means you can make that decision at 15 and a half. And for 18-year-olds and above, you only have to live in your chosen gender for 3 months. Now, this has caused all sorts of problems. There's lots of protests in the Scottish Parliament. And so Keir Starmer has given an interview saying that he is not against changing the rules if he gets elected to the new government. In England and Wales as well. Now, I as a woman, am very dubious about this. There's no medical diagnosis needed. Labour MPs are split on it straight away. Keir Starmer has actually said that, introduce
I'm so sorry, Dawn. I'm cutting in not because for any reason other than we're short of time, and it's such a huge issue as well, so we can't get too involved.
Come on, Anna, say it.
No, I wanted to say it more nicely than that. Maybe we can revisit some of these issues in the next hour, but we're completely out of time now. Thank you both, and see you in a little bit.